The sun rose hard over Okinawa, spilling fire across the Marine Corps base. Boots struck asphalt. Orders cut through the air. Recruits stood frozen in line. And among them a figure stood out without standing out. A woman in her early 30s. Thin. Sharp-eyed. Sullen. Her uniform plain, her stance humble, her record unremarkable. But something about her presence made others straighten when she passed. Her name on paper was Lieutenant Saraki. Assigned to logistics. Ordinary. Forgettable. But beneath the surface lived a truth almost no one knew. That morning, Colonel James Whittaker made his rounds. A decorated Marine. 3 decades of service. A man who had stared down firestorms and never blinked. Until he saw her. Her file was too clean. Too empty. As if her past had been erased by design. He stopped in front of her. His shadow fell across her face. "Lieutenant," he said, his voice like thunder. "What's your call sign?" A parry ground froze. Call signs didn't belong to logistics officers. But Sarah lifted her eyes. Steady. And spoke 2 words that turned the morning cold. Phantom. The colonel froze. His jaw clenched. His hand trembled. For the first time in years the recruits saw fear in their commander. Formation dismissed. She was ordered into his office. Behind locked doors, the colonel whispered her name. Phantom. A shadow. A ghost story. A rumor whispered by men who never came back. He remembered Afghanistan. Helmand province. His unit pinned down. Hours under fire. Until a shadow team appeared. Solid. Invisible. They pulled every man out alive. And one name rose above all the rest. Phantom. Now she stood before him. Flesh and blood. A ghost given form. Her silence was answer enough. She didn't need to say who she was. "I was where they told me to be," she said quietly. "I did what had to be done. But when it was over they needed a ghost more than a hero. So I disappeared." Her eyes carried memories too heavy for words. And the colonel realized she had come back to fight. She had come back to rest. But rest never lasts. Not for ghosts. 2 weeks later, disaster struck. A convoy ambushed. Humanitarian aid stolen. A young lieutenant taken hostage. The mission to recover him suicidal. Too dangerous. Too costly. The briefing room went silent. Then a convoy's cut through. A go. Sarah stepped forward. Her eyes steady. Her voice unshaken. "I know the terrain. I know how to get in and out. Let me do it." The colonel stared at her, torn between duty and desperation. Finally, he gave a sharp nod. She looked back at him. "With respect, Colonel, a team makes noise. Phantom does." That night, the legend walked again. She moved through the darkness like a shadow reborn. Every step precise. Every strike silent. Birds fell without sound. Rifles were disarmed before fingers could tighten. Not a single alarm was raised. The young lieutenant sat in a prison tent, trembling in the dark. The door creaked open. He braced for death. Instead she stood there. Her finger pressed to her lips. "Stay quiet. We're leaving." Moments later, his restraints were cut. And together, they slipped into the night. No shots fired. No trail left behind. At the extraction point, Marines held their breath. From the shadows, Sarah emerged bringing the young officer back alive. The colonel stood waiting. The red glow of the field lamps lit his face. And once again, he felt the chill of legend. "Phantom," he whispered. Her voice was steady. Heavy with truth. "I told you, Colonel. I didn't come back to fight. But sometimes the fight finds you." The mission was never written down. Her name never appeared in the report. But the story spread like wildfire. Among the Marines, a legend was reborn. Phantom was real. And she walked among them. The colonel carried the truth in silence. Because men like her never truly leave the shadows. They live between battles. They carry scars the world will never see. And though history may never record her sacrifice, Those who saw her would never forget. Because sometimes, the quietest soldier in the room carries the loudest history. And once upon a time, when a colonel demanded her call sign, she answered with a name that froze his blood.